They call it the Great Trash Sea. A bit of gallows humor from the last generation, I suppose. The ones who could still remember the before times. The ones who remembered blue. For me, there's no humor in it. There's no sea. A sea is water. It has life. It moves with a purpose given to it by the moon. This is a corpse. The corpse of a world, stretching from one poisoned horizon to the next, a monument to a billion forgotten sins. It doesn't move. It just settles. 100 miles deep in some places, they say, a geology of waste, compacting under its own unimaginable weight. My name is Silas. And I am a mariner on this dead sea. My ship isn't made of wood or steel. My ship is a pair of walkers, scavenged stilts I strap to my legs and arms. One leg is an old, perforated highway sign, bent in the middle so my knee is always crooked. The other is a heavy black polymer, sleeker, longer, with little colored lights that sometimes blink in the gloom, a ghost of a life it once had. My arm poles are a pair of golf clubs bound with copper wire and a fragile length of fiberglass that leaves stinging splinters in my palms. Quadrupedal. That's how you travel the trash sea. You walk above it, like a water strider on a pond of filth. You have to. To crawl in it, to be in it, that's a death wish. My world is a symphony of decay. The rustle of a million plastic bags, a sound like dry leaves, forever blowing in a wind that stinks of sulfur and burnt sugar. The groan of metal deep below, shifting under the pressure. The sudden, sharp crack of a glass bottle finally surrendering to the ages. And the sun, we don't see the sun. Just a pale, luminous cataract in the jaundiced sky. A sun that went cold, they say, after it burned itself out with fever. It gives no warmth. Only a hazy, perpetual twilight. My goggles are my face. I think they were welded to my father's skull, and then to mine. I was born with them on or near enough. The leather is fused to my skin. There's a trench in my bone where the strap has rested for 40 years. The left lens is a spiderweb of cracks, a relic from a fall I took as a boy. My eye beneath it is a puckered, milky scar, blind and useless. The one good eye I have does all the work, scanning, always scanning. For what? The glint of a sealed container. The promise of an unbroken wrapper. The impossible dream of a single, trapped drop of liquid that isn't poison. Today, like every day, is about the hunt. I maneuver my walkers with a practiced, lurching gait. Clack crunch. Thump crunch. My bones ache, a deep, resonant pain that never truly leaves. Food is a memory. Real food, and for my kind, sustenance is a lick of chemical residue off the inside of a faded chip bag. It's the foul-tasting, nutrient paste you can sometimes squeeze from a lead-line tube. It's survival, not living. My good eye catches a flicker of color, a splash of faded red against the endless beige and gray. I kneel, my walkers sinking precariously into a drift of plastic bottles. My hands, wrapped in rags, dig frantically. The plastic is brittle, sun-bleached. I unearth a lunchbox. A child's lunchbox, with a cartoon dog on it, its smile impossibly wide and cheerful. The eyes have been scratched away. My heart, a shriveled little knot in my chest, does a pathetic flutter. Lunchboxes were built to seal. To keep things fresh. My fingers tremble as I pry at the rusted clasps. They don't budge. I pull out my scraper, a sharpened piece of leaf spring, and begin to work at the seam. The screech of metal on metal is loud in the silence. It takes minutes. Agonizing minutes, my breath held tight in my chest, my stomach a hollow cavern of want. Finally, with a groan of protest, it gives. I lift the lid. Inside is a single, hard, black object. It looks like a piece of charcoal. I pick it up. It's light. Too light. I realize what it is. An apple. Or what was once an apple. Now, it's just a mummified husk of carbon, every last drop of moisture stolen by the millennia. I crush it in my fist, and it disintegrates into bitter dust. Nothing. The lament is a luxury I can't afford. Wasted energy. I stand up, the world swaying for a moment. My body shakes from exertion and hunger. It's getting worse. The tremors. Soon I won't be able to handle the walkers. And then I'll have to crawl. But not yet. Not today. I have a destination. A purpose beyond this desperate, moment-to-moment scavenging. A myth. Out there, somewhere in the mist to the west, lies the Leviathan. Every mariner has heard the stories. A ship from the before times. An ocean liner, so colossal that it didn't sink into the trash like everything else. It was caught, beached on the corpse of a submerged skyscraper, its hull looming over the wastes like a mountain range of rust. They say its larders were vast. They say its water reclamation systems were a closed loop, powered by a core that could run for 1,000 years. They say there is still old water deep within its bowels. Clean, clear water. Not the sour, recycled piss we fight for. Real water. A single mouthful would be a miracle. A tank full, it would be a kingdom. Most think it's a fairy tale. A story to keep you moving until you die. But I saw it. Years ago, on a rare day when the haze lifted. A dark shape on the horizon, impossibly huge, its smokestacks like the spires of a demonic cathedral. It was real. And it's my only hope. Suddenly, a sizzle, a searing pain on the back of my neck. I look up. The sky hasn't changed, but the air has. A scent of ozone and vinegar, acid rain, the silent killer. There's no warning, no storm clouds. Just the air turning sharp, and then the drops begin to fall. They aren't water. They're a mix of chemicals that leach down from the upper layers of smog, a solvent that eats through cloth, then skin, then bone. There's no time to secure the walkers. I kick my feet free of the straps, letting the precious stilts fall. Another drop hits my shoulder, and I hiss as it burns through my rags. I have seconds. I do the only thing you can do. I dive. I plunge headfirst into the trash, burrowing like a terrified mole. The surface world vanishes. Down here, it's different. Darker. The light from the cold sun filters down in distorted, murky shafts through layers of translucent plastic. The air is thick, rank with the wet smell of anaerobic decay, of things sealed away from the light for centuries. The hissing of the rain above is a terrifying, drumming sound on the roof of my tomb. I have to go deeper. The acid will trickle down, following me. I push downwards, swimming through a universe of refuse. It's a claustrophobic nightmare. A plastic bag wraps around my face, and I tear at it in a panic, my lungs screaming. The pressure of the trash above is immense, a constant, crushing embrace. This is why we don't crawl. This is why we walk above. Because down here are the things that sank. The little things. Billions of them. Cigarette butts, bottle caps, the shattered heads of dolls with staring, dead eyes. And the sharp things. Shards of glass that wait like predators. Hypodermic needles, their points still carrying the ghosts of ancient diseases. Rusted razor blades, can lids, the jagged edges of broken toys. My hands, even wrapped in cloth, are a roadmap of scars from these encounters. But it's not the dead, sharp things I fear most down here. It's the things that aren't quite dead. A tremor. It's not the settling of the trash. This is different. Slower. More deliberate. A colossal stirring, somewhere in the abyssal depths below me. My blood runs cold. I freeze, every muscle locked. I try to stop breathing. They are the other reason we stay on the surface. The bottom feeders. The things that have adapted to this hell. We call them the shamblers. Or the murmurers. No one's ever gotten a good look at one and lived to describe it. They are things of the deep trash, things born of rot and pressure and chemical ooze. They are big and they are always hungry. The movement is closer now. I can feel the vibration through a thick, waterlogged bundle of old magazines pressing against my ribs. It's a sliding, dragging sound. The sound of immense weight being shifted. I stay perfectly still. A statue buried in filth. Don't breathe. Don't move. Don't exist. And then I feel it, a touch, against my outstretched fingers. It isn't the random press of a piece of debris. It's gentle, exploratory. It feels dry, papery, almost like old leather. It brushes against my knuckles once, twice. A current of absolute terror shorts out my nervous system. My heart hammers against my ribs like a trapped bird. Slowly, ever so slowly, the presence below moves on. The vibration fades. The dragging sound recedes into the crushing dark. For a long time, I don't move. I wait until the sound of the rain from above has completely stopped. Then, shaking uncontrollably, I begin to push my way back up. Towards the light. Towards the air. When I break the surface, gasping in the acrid twilight, the world seems changed. The silence feels heavier. The touch lingers in my mind. It didn't feel like a mindless beast. It felt questioning. I find my walkers. The acid has pitted them, eating away at the surfaces, but they're functional. The blinking lights on the black polymer leg are dead now. I strap them on and begin my journey again, but my focus is shattered. The hunt for the Leviathan is no longer a quest for hope. It is a flight from the terror below. For 3 more cycles of the dimming and brightening of the sky, I walk. The landscape of trash changes. I cross a plain of tires, half melted into a rubbery, black landscape. I navigate a forest of rebar and concrete, the bones of a dead city. I see things that chill me to the bone. A mass of books, fused into a single pulpy monument, a child's smiling face barely visible on a half-exposed cover. The hulk of a city bus, a single headlight still shining with a ghostly, faint light, powered by some long-forgotten battery. It shines on nothing, and then I see it. At first, it's just a tear in the fabric of the sky. A shape darker than the perpetual gray. As I get closer, its scale becomes apparent. And it is blasphemous. The Leviathan. It rests on its side, a god of rust and ruin. The hull is a sheer cliff face of oxidized metal, streaked with the white and red of its ancient paint. It's bigger than any building I've ever seen. It's a man-made mountain. The stories were true. Fear and a desperate, agonizing hope wage war in my gut. I spend the last of my energy pushing forward, until I stand at its base, a mere insect at the foot of a titan. A huge gash is torn in its side, a wound from its ancient death throes, a dark mouth leading into its depths. This is it. Salvation or the grave. I discard the walkers and crawl inside. The air inside is different. Still, cold, and heavy with the smell of rust and stagnant water. Not the old water of my dreams, but the black, oily seepage from the trash below. My voice, a small grunt as I pull myself over a ledge, echoes in the cavernous dark. I use my scraper to feel my way forward, my good eye struggling to adjust. I'm in a vast corridor, tilted at a 45-degree angle. Doors hang open like gaping mouths. Debris, rotting furniture, shreds of carpet, strange metal objects, is piled against the lower wall. I have to go down. Deeper. The engineering decks, the water storage tanks. That's where the prize would be. As I descend, I start to hear it. A sound. Not the groaning of the ship. Not the wind outside. A whisper. It's faint, a sibilant hiss on the edge of hearing. I freeze, listening. It comes again. It sounds like words. But the language I don't know. Or maybe it's just the wind playing tricks. I press on, my heart a cold stone. The whisper grows louder, more complex. It's not one voice. It's many. A chorus of soft, murmuring sounds, echoing up from the bowels of the ship. Then I hear something I recognize. A child crying. It's faint, but unmistakable. The sound of a baby wailing in distress. It's a sound from the before times, a sound I've only heard in my imagination. It cuts right through me. The trick. It has to be a trick. But what if it's not? What if some miracle? I follow the sound. Down through tilted ballrooms where shattered chandeliers glitter like constellations of broken stars. Down past cabins where the ghosts of lives are plastered to the walls in the form of faded photographs and scraps of clothing. The crying gets louder, more insistent. And it's joined by other sounds. A snatch of music, a tinny jingle from an ancient advertisement. The cheerful beep boop of a video game. Laughter. A woman's laughter, clear as a bell. These aren't random noises. They're lures. The most perfect lures imaginable, crafted from the stolen memories of a dead world. The murmurs. The shamblers. They're here. This isn't just a wreck. It's a nest. My terror is so absolute it's almost clarifying. I should run. I should scramble back out of that gash in the hull and flee across the trash. But the old water, the dream of it is a hook in my soul. And something else, a morbid, fatal curiosity. I have to see. I have to know what makes these sounds. I reach what must have been the grand atrium. It's a vertical cavern of peeling gold paint and decay. The sounds are coming from the bottom. I peer over the edge, and I see them. They are not beasts of flesh and blood. They are amalgamations. Things of the trash. The shamblers are walking constructs of what we threw away. One is a hulking brute of tires and rusted metal. It's had a shattered television screen that flickers with faint static. Another is a spindly thing of wire and plastic bags, skittering on legs made of broken mannequins. Their bodies are a collage of refuse, bound together by a thick, black, tar-like substance that seems to pulse with a dim light. And in their chests, or where their heads should be, are the sound makers. Old radios, children's toys with pull strings, broken music boxes, all wired into their beings. They aren't mimicking the sounds. They are playing them, broadcasting the ghosts of humanity to lure prey into their den. At the bottom of the atrium is a pool. A vast, circular pool of the black, tarry substance. And it is shimmering. It glows with a faint, internal luminescence, and from its viscous surface, bubbles rise and pop. As I watch, a shape begins to form. A hand. A hand made of compressed bottle caps and cigarette filters emerges, followed by an arm of electrical cables. It's a birthing pit. This is where they are made. And then I see the source of the legend. In the center of the pool, pipes descend from the ceiling, dripping a clear, clean liquid. Drop by drop, it falls into the black ooze. The old water. It's real. It's here. But it's not a source of life for me. It's the catalyst. The animating fluid. The ingredient that turns our dead refuse into these abominations. The greatest treasure in the world is the poison that creates its greatest monsters. The laughter that escapes my lips is a dry, broken thing. It's all a joke. A cosmic, final joke. My laughter echoes in the chamber. And the sounds below stop. Every shambler, every half-formed thing in the pit, turns its mismatched head towards me. The static on the television screen intensifies. The doll head stare. The silence is more terrifying than the noise. Then, from the center of the pool, something massive begins to rise. It's not a shambler. It's their king. Their god. Its body is the size of a whale, a continent of fused plastic and metal, the entire history of our consumption given monstrous form. Its head is a cluster of 100 staring, unblinking glass eyes, scavenged from 1,000,000 dolls and mannequins. And it is intelligent. I can feel it. It looks at me, and it's not the vacant stare of a beast. It is a gaze of ancient, alien consciousness. It doesn't need a radio to speak. Its voice enters my mind directly. A wave of images, feelings, and knowledge that crashes over me and brings me to my knees. I see it all. The end of the world, not with a bang, but with a burial. I see the birth of their consciousness, deep in the crushing pressure of the trash, a slow awakening over centuries. I see them learning, finding the things we left behind, our voices, our music, our memories, and learning to use them. They are the planet's immune system. We were the disease. They are the cure. And I feel the memory of the touch from the deep trash. The dry, leathery brush against my fingers. It wasn't a shambler. It was this thing. It had sensed me, another consciousness in the Dead Sea. It wasn't hunting me. It was curious. The last thought it pushes into my mind is not a threat. It's an offer. An invitation. A single, dry, papery hand made of compressed cardboard and waxed paper emerges from the monstrous body. It looks familiar. I look closer at its surface and my good eye widens. I can just make out a faded patch of red, a cheerful, smiling face. The cartoon dog from the lunchbox. The hand reaches out to me across the chasm. The images in my head are clear. Join us. You are the last spark of the old world. Your mind, your memories, they are a treasure. We will not devour you. We will preserve you. You will be part of us. You will not hunger. You will not feel pain. You will not be alone. I look at the hand made of promises. I think of the endless hunt, the sour taste of nutrient paste, the gnawing emptiness, the constant shaking fear, the absolute, crushing loneliness. This is not a monster offering death. It's a God offering an end to suffering. My one good eye looks from the monstrous hand back to my own. A trembling, scarred thing of skin and bone. Frail. Obsolete. I lived as a mariner on a dead sea. But the sea isn't dead. It has just found a new form of life. And I am a relic, a ghost, haunting a world that is no longer mine. Slowly I reach out,